Freasier. Good morning and welcome to Whenever You Are. I am Bandit Hayes, and today I'm going to be talking about There Will Be Blood, and in case you're wondering, there will be spoilers. Now, despite the name of the movie, this film is actually not about a lady's monthly cycle, though it does technically count as a periods drama. This film is about oil, black gold, Texas tea. It's set during the late 1800s and the early 20th century. It's directed by Paul Anderson, though unfortunately not the same Paul Anderson that's directed... How awesome would it be to have Daniel Day-Lewis in a Mortal Kombat movie, but oh well. Anyway, the film shows the lengths that one man, Daniel Plainview, would go to in order to get land where he can drill for oil. And it also shows the lengths that another man, Eli Sunday, would go to get his money, just in a slightly different way. So here's what we know about Daniel Plainview. Now, he's played by Daniel Day-Lewis, who is known for going to extraordinary lengths in order to prepare for a role. I mean, this guy is next level method actor. Now, that's significant because it means that he probably really did fall down a mine. He probably really did kidnap an actual orphan's child, and he probably really did kill an evangelist. I think at this point, any movie Daniel Day-Lewis does should be treated as a confession. In fact, come to think of it, let's not put Daniel Day-Lewis in a Mortal Kombat movie. Anyway, what do we know about Eli Sunday? Well, he's the twin brother of Paul Sunday, who's the person that told Daniel about their land and the oil. He's a religious man and believes himself to be a prophet, but he is ultimately weak-willed. So when we get to the end of the movie and Daniel is telling Eli that his milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, he also tells Eli that he is better than him. Now, this bit might seem self-explanatory, and it kind of is. He's talking about being smarter and older. You're just a boy, Eli, the afterbirth that slithered out of your mother's filth. But what I think the film is really saying at this point is that Daniel is a better atheist than Eli is a Christian, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Now let me pause for a minute, because if you've watched my videos before, then you know my style. You know I like to give the information, tell the truth as I see it, but while doing that also keep it entertaining, make a joke or two, or 3 or 4. Maybe have at least one masturbation reference. But I'm thinking that, making jokes when it concerns religion, politics, and that whole thing, it's a tricky area, because even with the best of intentions, you can still cause offense. That's not what I want to do. But then I realized a few things. One, I have no business dealings with Disney, so I can't be dropped to making anti-Semitic jokes. My arm's hurting. Let me just stretch that out. Yeah, that's better. 2, if I do offend any Christians or other religions, then, well, in the words of Bill Hicks, forgive me. So first, let me clarify something, because the film itself doesn't clarify what Daniel Plainview's beliefs actually are, but just considering that he was reticent to say which church he belongs to, he never gives Eli the $5,000 for his church, and at the end he makes Eli admit that God is a superstition, it somewhat suggests that Daniel is either atheist or agnostic, and for simplicity, I'm going with atheist. Anyway, Daniel wants to buy land in an area where the townsfolk are mostly devout Christian, and so that he can drill with little to no trouble, he acquiesces to much of their requests. Whereas with Eli has something to prove. He believes he's the chosen one, a prophet among men with the ability to cure ailments and exorcise demons. Not that kind of exercise. By the way, that part where Eli's in a church with the old lady with arthritis and he says he's going to suck it out, I had to put the subtitles on for that bit, and he does actually say suck it out. It just sounded like something else. The problem that Eli has is that outside of the Church of the Third Revelation, he's just another guy. When negotiating with Daniel, Eli wanted $10,000. Daniel offered him $5,000. Disrespectful. When Eli was talking to Daniel about blessing the derrick, he wanted Daniel to introduce him as the proud son of these hills. Daniel didn't introduce him at all. Disrespectful. And after Daniel's son goes deaf, Eli goes to see Daniel to ask for his $5,000, and Daniel slaps Eli because he couldn't cure Daniel's son's hearing. Now imagine that. You go to collect money that you are owed, and you get slapped. By the way, Daniel's son is called HW, but anytime you can link something to the Karate Kid, It's a good thing. Anyway, after that, Eli gets mad at his dad. He actually attacks his own father and blames him for everything, for being stupid, because of course it can't be Eli's fault, even though it was Eli who negotiated with Daniel in the first place. Eli has to believe that he is the chosen one, so he blames everything on his dad. And the dumb thing is that whole chosen one thing could have been resolved had they just gone to see the Oracle. But what's really gonna bake your noodle later on is, would Joe Gunda still have died had the derrick been properly blessed? And would Eli have been the one to properly bless it? Now, at the end of the movie, after Eli has been on tour, he goes to see Daniel to sell him some land and to ask for his original $5,000. Now, Daniel agrees to this on one condition, that Eli denounces himself and God. And Eli does this. He gets really into it as well. He's all like, I am a false prophet and God is a superstition. He does it like 3-4 times, and then Daniel drops the bomb. Me nah buy nothing. You see me? Me already own what's around it, so me have to take what's underneath, you know. Eli then has a breakdown because he's been broken. But he still can't accept it. He still wants to believe that he is a chosen one. So this time he blames his shortcomings on God for not warning him. All this to show that Daniel is stronger in disbelief than Eli is in belief. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Hayes, but Daniel does give in to some of their religious demands. Yeah, kinda. I mean, with Daniel, it's all lip service because he never really gets into it the same way that Eli did. For example, when he was being absolved of his sins, his whole response was, yes, I do. That's not the response of somebody who's just had some kind of religious breakthrough. That's the response of somebody who's just going through the motions. He's just doing it to get the land so he can build the pipeline. Furthermore, I think Daniel sees himself as being above these people because, you know, they talk of faith, but then Mr. Sunday beats his daughter Mary if she doesn't pray, but says nothing when Daniel tells Mary right in front of her father that they ain't gonna beat you no more. He just sits there, turns his head, and eats his porridge. There's nothing that happens that Daniel can respect about them. He just needs their land. You know, I've just realized that I haven't actually made any religious jokes yet, so here goes. Why couldn't the nun quit smoking? Because she had a habit. How many devout Christian women does it take to change a light bulb? None. Why do clergy women make the best bodyguards? Because no one can get past her. So, is this film saying that it is better to be a disbelieving atheist than God-fearing Christian folk? Maybe, but I don't think so. I think the message of this film is, it is better to know who you are. Daniel is an oil man. He's also a thief, a crook, a swindler, a liar, an opportunist, and a killer, but he knows who he is. He knows that he has a competition in him and doesn't want anyone else to succeed. Eli, on the other hand, doesn't have a strong belief in God, but he's trying to convince the world that he is the chosen one. But in the end, he's more concerned with being famous or being revered and being recognized than actual faith. When he got back from being on tour, he talked about being on the radio, and also the deal that he wanted to set up with Daniel was partly so that a member from his parish can go to Hollywood to be an actor. And during his breakdown, when he's blaming God for not warning him, there is a insinuation that Eli might have, shall we say, given into the temptations of the flesh. The difference is, Daniel lies to others, Eli lies to himself. And that is what I think of There Will Be Blood. What do you think? Oil's well that ends well, or strike? Let me know down below. And if you liked this video, give it a like and share it amongst your friends. If you did not like it, then give it a dislike and share it amongst your enemies. Either way, let me know your reasons in the comments. Subscribe if you have not already. Thank you for watching, and until whenever, if ever, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!